Everybody, welcome back to the Brohood Productions Hall of Justice podcast. It's been a while, and guess what? When I have Colby the Cheeseman on, we will be discussing
Superman.
Superman. What's up, Colby? What's up?
Nothing much, nothing much. Just hanging out.
People,
Talk some Superman.
Colby and I talk all the time, so this is just for y'all to understand, to be with us as we're I was gonna say debating. We don't debate.
We're debating.
D before D, E after D. We're gonna have conversations, convos.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, Kobe, before we start, how have you been, man? How are you feeling
Good.
with our second favorite holiday or season, our second favorite season, Summer of Superman coming to an end? How are you? Psychologically, are you feeling okay?
Yes, yes. A lot of big things coming up. Obviously, my own wedding coming up this month is very exciting, very exciting. But as far as Superman goes, yeah, I mean, we all talked about the movie what a couple months ago when it came out. We had our big cast on the show of everyone. I don't know, it feels good. It's still going strong. Summer of Superman is wrapping up, but it we've still got lots of Superman on the way, so it
Oh
it
yeah.
feels good. It feels
Oh
good.
yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think I've asked you this. Have you been reading Absolute Superman?
Yes and no.
Okay, okay.
I've been picking it up. I'm a few issues behind
Okay,
with
okay.
just been very busy on my end. I'm up to date on mainline Superman, Absolute. I need to read a few more issues.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
We won't spoil too much. We'll have some
Yes.
foreshadowing, but we won't
Yeah.
spoil anything.
All good.
So
All
today,
good.
my friends, Kobe and I, our task is to kind of catch you up what's going on in the world of Superman, our theories of what's happening in the DC world when it comes to Superman. We'll touch base potentially on some DC Studios stuff, but we need to talk some Superman comics. So,
Yes.
Colby,
Yes.
we
Yes.
have DC K.O. arriving,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be completely blunt and honest. I am very excited for the vision of Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson, but I did not personally envision that All In or the Absolute Universe was leading to an all-out Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yes. Yes.
I'm getting used to this idea. Feed
Yeah.
us, tell the folks at home what is DCKO.
Yes. Yes. It's funny you say that. I kind of had the same thought. I remember seeing the announcement and seeing like some of the wrestling covers, and as someone who isn't a wrestling fan necessarily, but likes when other things do wrestling stuff. I love Do a Power Bomb by Daniel Warren Johnson. I love the idea of this big DC wrestling match. I thought it was just like a little fun spin-off series. It was, oh, they're all gonna wrestle and fight and have fun, and then come to find out, oh, this is what All In's been leading to. Interesting. Like you said, it's like I'm excited, but it is kind of weird to go, oh, no, wait, this is what all this has been for. It's not just a one-off thing. But no, yeah, basically the brief synopsis from what I've seen and heard and all of that, all the interviews and the previews and things is that basically back when in All In when Darkseid created the absolute universe and kind of disappeared, he, reshaped that universe in his image. And now Darkseid's coming back. We're seeing kind of where he's been, what he's been up to, what he's doing. And then they need to go to Apocalypse and I think they call it the Omega Energy. Someone needs to harness the Omega Energy to defeat Darkseid and become the next King Omega or KO. It's kind of a double entendre title. It's the King Omega and it's a knockout fight. Um, and so then they have to have this big tournament because that's how things work on Apocalypse. Everything is fight to the death. So they have to have this bracketed tournament, and whoever wins gets that Omega Energy and then gets the chance to fight Darkseid and then create the universe in their image and how they want it. So it's kind
Mhm.
of like, okay, we saw what Darkseid did, now we're going to try to undo that. But in order to do that, we need to have this big fight and see who wins the privilege of fighting Darkseid, basically. So, which is very exciting.
It's oh my goodness, man. Like there's some spin-offs, there's some tie-ins, right, that are going to try to complete this whole story. Like you, I'm excited, but I'm confused, right?
Yes.
Because the Joshua Williamson, the master that he is going to show us some things at the heart of the story. They're teasing some stuff with the Heart of Apocalypse and how it relates to Superman. Um, when we were introduced to All In last year, whoever's narrating, I think it's partially the Spectre, is narrating the story, but it's also Booster Gold. Yes. Um, and through Doomsday Clock, we understand that main continuity is, should we say, circling around the sun, and then in this
Yeah.
circumstance, it's circling around Superman. And in All In, we learn the dark side, as you mentioned, created his own universe, has become the own center of his own universe.
Mhm.
This is where it's kind of like confusing to me. Because if it's an all-out fight, there's no mercy.
Mhm.
What if Superman loses? Like,
Yeah.
is the absolute universe or Darkseid universe the universe right now?
Yeah.
And it's not about the main continuity. I'm probably thinking about it too much. Um, I guess what I'm trying to get to as we go back and talk about some Superman stuff, what I'm theorizing, what we've been kind of potentially dabbling with, is kind of a soft reboot.
Yeah. Yes, yes. I remember you told me that a little while ago off air, and that's something I hadn't thought of, but I could definitely see them doing since I think it was back in 2016 or 17 that we had the all what was it Dark Knight's death metal when they said
Mhm.
it's all canon, but it's not, but it's because DC obviously has done all sorts of reboots and um rebirths and crises, whereas Marvel has kind of just been the same continuity since the beginning, and
Mm.
with like that sliding timescale idea. So it is interesting because it seemed like they're like, okay, no more reboots where it's all the same, it all happened, but it all is different and disconnected but connected. And so it's interesting because, like you said, it's if this is where it's all been going, and they say at the end, oh, the universe will be reshaped by the winner, that implies there's going to be at least a soft reboot, like
Mm.
you said, like the universe is going to be different in some way. I'm sure enough that it constitutes. I mean, that's what back in Dark Knight's Death Metal. That's led us from. I think were we still in Rebirth at that point, or had we kind of shifted?
I think it's the other one.
Other one, okay.
The next one. I forget what it was called.
Yeah, because I remember Dawn of DC.
Dawn of DC. That's next.
Was that
Right. That
it?
was
Yeah.
that was after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah,
many.
it's something I hadn't considered, but it's definitely you bring up a good point that it feels like which that the big tie-in crossover crisis events usually is where the reboot happens, and so we've had pretty much since Dawn of DC, it's all kind of been the same. So it would be interesting if they did go, okay, now we're rebooting it, but then that begs the question: do we still have the absolute universe? Will that be tied in? Will that end? What's happening there?
All interesting questions. And I'm totally fine with being wrong. I wasn't invited to the lunch with Scott Snyder and Jim
Yeah.
Lee. It would have been nice. I'm
Yeah.
still available, guys, if you guys want to
We'll
talk
have to reach
shop.
out.
Um, because, and we were talking about this is, I want to say issue anywhere between issues, is it 13, 14, 12, and 20. Time Trapper shows up.
Mm,
Time Trapper has a conversation with Superman. If you guys haven't caught up, please caught up. Great story so far. Beautiful artists. Dan Mora as the main artist on the main line. Time Trapper lists some things that have not happened yet. And so
mm,
those are the things that really intrigue me, right?
yeah.
Because there's this big time, dark Omega Energy crisis going on. Even Superboy Prime in 28 alluded to, crossover crisis situation.
Mm,
Um, so it's very excited. You can tell in my voice that I'm stuttering a lot when I
yes,
get
yes,
excited.
yes.
Um, but Time Trapper mentioned certain things. One of those things that we discussed was you still have your eye, which means
Mm,
Zod has yet to return.
mm,
So
mm,
is Zod, and then there's an article out there, I think it came out early spring, summer of this year, where Joshua Williamson says that there are some surprises to come.
mm,
And those surprises, are 2026 because from what I can see in our calendar for the next couple of issues, it's all DC KO tie-ins.
Yeah.
So something is happening. Something is
Yes,
happening.
yes. Yes,
And
yes,
Scott
yes.
Snyder says that the absolute universe will continue as long as you read it. And this was another theory that I was bringing up to you. Based on the numbers, people are picking up absolute more than
Oh,
any
fuck yeah.
other line, which to me also sounds like maybe there's going to be a break from the main continuity. Maybe like not completely,
Hmm.
but we're going to shift to the absolute universe being kind of like the main thing for DC for a while. Not sure if you've had some time to think about that
Yeah.
since our on off air conversation.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a big swing. I mean, I could see them doing it. It's one of those things you don't really expect, but that might be what they want because yeah, Ultimate and Absolute have been gangbusters. It's like as someone who sees it from the shop side of it, working at a comic shop, like we have people who've never read a comic in their life coming in and picking up Absolute Batman or Ultimate Spider-Man because they saw a TikTok about it or their friends were talking about it. It's turning heads, and it's one of those things. It's because I think it's separate from the main continuity, which is one of those things that like has always plagued comics and especially has been a big discussion point in the past few years. Is that a lot of people see that as a barrier to entry, that like, oh well, I have to know the 40, 50, 60 plus years of lore. I'm of the opinion that you don't need to know everything to enjoy it. Sometimes you can just jump right in and learn as you go, but I definitely see why that turns a lot of people off. And so it's no surprise that a it's not tied to main continuity. It's this is the beginning. I can start here and go from there. I know enough about these characters as a baseline, but then it's also different enough that it's a new take on it. It's something different. It's still Batman, it's still Superman, it's still Wonder Woman, but they're different. There's a twist. It's like a new take on the characters, and so I think that definitely has helped. And I could definitely see them shifting the focus to, like you said, even if they don't like retire the main universe, even if it's just like we kind of focus more on Absolute. I could absolutely see. Did not intend for that pun. I could definitely see that happening.
It's awesome. Because we have Batman number one. I don't know where that came out of nowhere, right? We still have to finish Hush or whatever. But like Superman is only in his 30th, about to be in his 30th
Yeah.
issue.
Hmm.
It'd be kind of weird to go straight to number one after having
Hmm.
so many, right? But it happens. And number one doesn't necessarily mean reboot, it just means
Yeah.
new starting point. You
Yeah.
know, because that I do love Batman.
Hmm.
I just don't always pick up his run. I catch up in different ways. There are some things that I am confused about, but it's also like
Hmm.
quote unquote a fresh start.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened in Batman's life, mainly besides unless I'm going through like the lens of the Justice League or through absolute power and stuff like that. But I don't see how you do that with Superman right now. But essentially, the rest of the year is you're in this tournament.
Yeah.
And that's where the fun discussion comes in of who's going to win in a fight. But
Hmm.
this is like fight to the end, you know?
Yeah.
Superman, I see these issues where he's like smiling. Does he know something I don't?
Yeah.
Is he going to win? I'm worried about my character, man. There are some
Yeah.
cool heavy hitters in this tournament. I'm assuming this is Mortal Kombat style and
Hmm.
Darkseid's the last one you fight, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you feeling, man, with how we're ending 2025 with Superman?
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, it is funny. It's easy to be concerned, like, oh, is this really to the death? Is this? I'm sure they're not gonna kill all their big characters, but with any big tournament fight like this, you want the shakeups. You want like, if I think there's a lot of matchups that certain characters just make more narrative sense, where it's like, oh, well, technically powers speaking. I've never been a big like power scale kind
Hmm.
of guy because it's people they've always all the writers have always said like it's whoever's writing the book that's who decides who wins. But
Right.
but still fun to speculate, and I think there's some matches where it's like, well, it's obvious that this character will win, like if like statistically speaking, but from a narrative standpoint, like I mean, you have Starro versus Wonder Woman. It's like I don't think they're gonna have Wonder Woman lose in round one. You know, like there's
Mm-hmm.
certain matchups, but then you want to go, well, they want those big surprises. They want the shakeups. They like, oh my gosh, you're reading it and it's whoa. Um, which makes me wonder if Zod will tie in somehow because I still need to read Kneel Before Zod. I read the first issue and really liked it, and then I waited for the trade. And now the trade's out, and I just haven't read it. But
Hmm.
I know last time we saw him in the main Superman series, when Absolute Power happened and Lois got her power as a Superwoman, you saw, oh, it was Zod's powers she took, and now he's pissed and he's coming to Earth, and so it's like I wonder if that's gonna be the big shake up as Zod comes in. You're like, oh no, what's happening now? Now we have Zod
Hmm.
and Darkseid, you know. But I think regardless of what happens in the tournament, like it's been a great year for Superman. I'm sure there's not, you know, they're riding off of the high right now. They have um they're filming Supergirl. They James Gunn just announced Man of Tomorrow. Like it's 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 a little scary, but at the end of the day, you have to go. Well, I don't think they're gonna kill off Superman if they're really like pushing him the way they have been. But who knows?
Who knows? Side tangent. Do you know where Zod's been? Because it sounds like he's like billions of years away. I have,
Yeah, they make it seem like he's like way over here.
because I got back in comics in 23, so like I don't know what I have missed when it comes to that, but I was just curious. Has
Yeah,
Zod been gone for a
I.
while?
That's the thing is we kind of have similar. I think it was 22 or 23 that I got back into comics because I read them as a kid and as a teenager, and then kind of got out of them, and then got back into them as a collector, and have been reading them. And it's I'm not quite sure what he's been up to either.
Yeah.
When you see him in Kneel Before Zod, he's kind of just on his own planet, kind of being the ruler of those people, and he's going around and just being a tyrant generally. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting to see like I'm not quite sure either, but I know, yeah, we saw in Superman, he's kind of making his way to Earth, but they make it seem like he's quite a ways away.
Yeah.
So I don't know
Interesting
what
stuff
his
there.
plan is. Yeah.
I have the list here. I'm gonna pop it up for our community here to look. This
Mhm.
tournament is huge. We don't know
Yeah.
what the aftermath is going to look like. I'm just gonna read them and you give me like a quick reaction. Because I know Batman is having his own tie-in, Flash is having his own
Yep.
tie-in, but he's not in the tournament, which makes sense
Mhm.
because of the synopsises I've been reading. It's interesting that
Mhm.
Batman is, but then Batman has his own journey. So it makes me
Yeah.
think, do these people actually die or are they like, I don't know.
Mhm.
So on one side, because this is so funny, they put Wonder Woman and Batman on the other side. It's so funny to me.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's Wonder Woman Starro. You kind of gave your stuff there. There's Lobo Plastic Man. I think that's funny.
Yeah.
What do you
Oh yeah.
think?
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it.
Um, we have Swamp Thing and Vixen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cyborg and Batwoman.
Mhm. Mhm.
Batman and Starfire.
Mhm.
So this one I think is interesting, cool. This one's the one that was like a tearjerker for me. It's Red Hood
Yeah.
versus Damian Wayne.
Oh yeah.
And if Batman beats Starfire, he's
Mhm.
gonna have to face one of his
Mhm.
proteges, sons. Oh, so cool, so cool.
Yeah.
There's,
Like we said, I'm sure they're setting that up. They're like,
this one is gonna
show
be
this
an
fight.
interesting matchup. Is Zatanna and Barda.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Harley Quinn and Metamorpho, the Element
Mhm.
Man. Now we're on the other side. We have the Demon Etrigan versus Supergirl. That sounds like a cool fight.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor versus Black Lightning. Lex Luthor's been gone. If you guys don't know that, Lex Luthor's been
Mhm.
MIA for a bit.
Mhm.
Hawkman versus Connor Hawk. Okay, I don't know who Connor Hawk is. Sorry, guys.
Mhm.
We have King
But
Shark
as
and
far as oh, sorry, I was just gonna say if
yeah.
I don't super know him. I know he's part of like the Green Arrow family. That's
Oh,
about
okay,
all I know. I
okay.
don't read a lot of Green Arrow, so
That's good. That's good.
yeah.
We have King Shark and Aquaman.
Mhm.
I know that Aquaman has recently gotten some new powers. Interesting stuff.
Yes.
Interesting stuff. Cheetah versus Jay Garrick.
Mhm.
Mhm. Our only Green Lantern in this entire tournament. I don't know where the other GLs are. I know they have a big thing going on. Jeremy Adams is coming up to bat with something really cool. But Guy Gardner is our only Green Lantern in this
Yes.
tournament. It works. It makes sense to me versus Firestorm.
Mhm.
This here is an interesting one. Captain Atom versus Power Girl
Yeah.
and Superman versus Giganta.
Hmm.
That's our tournament, man.
Yes.
I'm going to be following along. So you were mentioning some DC Studio stuff. Man of
Hmm.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
I heard a
Yes.
rumor, Kobe, the cheese man.
Mm.
I don't believe it, but I'm sharing it with you.
Yes.
Doomsday again.
Mm. Mm.
So we know that metahumans have been around for 300 years, according to James Gunn
Mhm.
and his new
Mhm.
DC universe, and Peter Safran.
Mhm.
Superman's been Superman for 3 years. There's no more kryptonite on the Earth. Has Superman already died? Is he going to die? Will he not die? I'm not saying that Doomsday, that's the rumor. I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I'm leaning more towards Brainiac. What bigger threat does Superman and Lex Luthor have to team up for? Because I have big faith in our DC universe because this is reminding me of our youth, of our childhood with Justice League
Mhm.
and Unlimited. I think we're telling a really big story here. We're not ending by any means anytime soon.
Yeah.
Um, there's still possibilities for the Snyderverse in its own little thing. Okay, it's okay, guys. Comics.
Yeah.
I would love Jim Lee and Zack Snyder to team up and tell the rest of the Snyderverse in comics.
Ooh.
Okay? There are still ways,
Ooh.
okay? But in the world that we live in right now, DC Studios is here to stay.
Yeah.
Um, how are you feeling about this tag team?
Yes, it's very interesting because it's I mean, obviously we've had for a while in the mainline universe the or I guess the mainline Superman we've had the whole point is Lex wants to atone and be friends with Superman and he lost his memories and we've had that in the comics lately. I mean, it's happened before, but it's definitely an interesting direction because I had assumed what we would do for the sequel, which surprised we're already getting it. That was crazy to find out we're already getting the sequel. Um, but I thought for sure it would be okay. We did Lex in the first movie because of course, and then we'll do another movie or two where Lex is like he's still in prison, biding his time. We'll see him later, or he's off doing something else, and then we'll bring Lex back maybe 2 movies later, or we'll skip a movie, do someone else, and then bring Lex back. But it's very interesting that they're already doing Lex Superman team up, and I think it's really interesting. I think it's cool. Like you said, it remains to be seen if we'll see Brainiac, Doomsday, if it'll be someone else. Um, I think have we seen Brainiac in a live action film? I don't think we have.
Oh, no. But I would think you would
So
lead
that
up to that, not have
true, yeah.
a
Kind of in the
one-off
second one.
situation,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we
It's
don't know.
interesting because you
We don't know.
you want to save the big villains, but yeah, it's I wonder because love or hate the Snyderverse, I feel like that's kind of what they did in the Snyderverse is we had one Superman movie and then he died and fought Doomsday, and so I wonder if they'd want to clear away, clear away, steer away from that, um, and do Brainiac now and save Doomsday for later, or if they want to save both for later, if it's gonna be just someone else. I mean, I've always since even before the movie came out, I've always been of the opinion that there's a lot of Superman villains that we could still see that I would love to see. I'd love to see Silver Banshee or Livewire or Metallo or Parasite. Like, but that's one of those things. Is are any of those characters big enough for Lex and Superman to team up, or do you need one of the heavy hitters like Brainiac or Doomsday?
These are good thoughts. These are important thoughts.
Yes.
I feel good.
Yeah.
Slightly nervous, but I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good.
Yeah.
Um, I'm anticipating this team up. Of course, you don't have to watch Peacemaker. Like he said, like everything's kind of linear, right? Like it's helpful to watch the show because it's going to reveal some stuff about the DC future. Um, but I've heard that the cast of characters of Man of Tomorrow may include Lobo, Supergirl, Mr. Terrific, Lex Luthor,
Yes.
and the one that I like the most is because it's my most anticipated DC project next year. the Lanterns. And so apparently Jon Stewart might be in Man of Tomorrow.
Hmm.
So, of
Hmm.
course, rumors, who has actually read the script, right?
Yeah.
Um, I am happy for Supergirl. Like I can't wait to watch it next year, but Lanterns is I'm so excited for Lanterns. The Batman Part 2 is going to start filming in the spring.
Yes.
So many good things. It seems like Matt Reeves is continuing to confirm that this is separate, so we might not actually get Robert in the
Yeah.
DCU, which means that James Gunn has to deliver us a glorified cameo in the Batman because it's going to be a while before we see him.
Yeah.
He's Superman's best friend. I mean,
Yes.
he has many best friends. It reminds me of the
Yes.
DC League of Super Pets, where they have
Hmm.
that final battle at the end, and like the Ace is like next to Batman. He's like, Batman works alone except for Alfred, Commissioner Gordon. So Superman has Jimmy
Hmm.
Olsen,
Hmm.
Batman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Um, what would if DC or DC Studios approached you in this beautiful time of the summer of Superman and the new season of the DCU, what would be something you would the question isn't what would you want, what would you want to share with them? Like what would be your hope for the next couple months, this era
Yeah.
opening up the DC? What do you think, Kobe?
Yes. Yes. I mean, I guess I would say keep up the good work. We've seen a lot of good stuff. I mean, I'm behind on Peacemaker, but I loved season one. I'm a big fan of season two. I think I still prefer season one so far, but I
Mhm.
do love season two. I love John Cena as Peacemaker. He's
Mhm.
an amazing character. If you would have told me your favorite character out of the Suicide Squad would be Peacemaker and you would actually care about him, I would say you're crazy. But here we are. And so I'm excited to see more Peacemaker. I mean, Superman was great. I think they're setting up a lot of good stuff. I think my biggest hope would be something that I personally, and this is just because as big of a comic fan as I am, I also have always been a big film fan.
Mhm.
And I feel like you and I have had conversations both on and off air of like what constitutes as good or well made. That's kind of all subjective. Everyone, has their own idea of that. But I guess in my mind, a big reason that I don't personally love a lot of the MCU stuff. There's some stuff that's good, some stuff that's not. Is that, and everyone said it. It can be very formulaic, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And then I feel, again, me personally, this is just like personal opinions. Is I believe that they kind of rush them out too quick because they just want the next one, they want the next one, they want the next one. And something that I loved about Matt Reeves, the Batman, is he had a very clear vision of what he wanted the movie to be, and it'll always be one of my favorite. I mean, I'm a huge Matt Reeves fan. I loved his Planet of the Apes movies, Cloverfield. He's just a great filmmaker. But my biggest hope for the DCU that so far has been pretty consistent is that I want them to take their time on things, have a clear vision. I feel like when you're in this big universe, it's fun to have that sandbox, but sometimes that can become all it is, and we don't focus on the little things. And so I think Superman had a perfect balance where it's very much a Superman movie. It's about Superman. It's about Lex Luthor. It's about Lois Lane. It's all these characters, but then it's still in the larger DC universe. You have Mr. Terrific and the rest of the Justice Gang, and I. That's the other thing is that I hope we get characters we haven't seen before because that's when you reboot the movies so many times. I mean, like we said, it's with any film series, you kind of get the same characters over and over again because you want to go, oh well, we have to do again, just using Marvel as an example. Not that they've done this recently, but oh, we're doing another Spider-Man. We need Green Goblin. We need Doc Ock. You want well, we need Lex Luthor. We need Doomsday. But I hope that they keep pulling the wild cards, which I think James Gunn will. He's definitely that kind of guy. He's like, well, we want. He created a multi-million-dollar franchise out of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like back in the day, comic fans knew who Guardians of the Galaxy were. Now, like, my grandma
Everybody.
knows who Groot is. Like that's
Mhm.
crazy. Like, and so like stuff like that. And I've always been a huge JSA fan. I've always loved Mr. Terrific. And so to see like, oh, people watch the movie, and again, we've had this same conversation off air. Like they get to see these characters that they've never seen before and realize why they're great. And so I kind of hope that we do kind of keep things centered, but also let the larger universe be part of the set dressing and not just focus on all the same characters. We want to see the Trinity, we want to see the big characters, we want to see the Justice League, but I think it's nice to give a lot of the B-listers or people that have never been in a movie before, that have only been in the comics, they show up and they're just as good a character as the big guys. So I think a combination of all those factors, I think we've talked about this. That's my one worry about Man of Tomorrow being so soon, is that I hope they give it time in the oven. They don't rush it because they're everyone's feeling high on the hype, both us and the creators, and then they rush it too quick and it's not quite as good, you know. And so I hope they take their time, plan it out, let it all be good on its own while still being a good part of this universe. But
I love it. I love it. You have engaged me in wisdom. We'll take it to the next lunch with Scott Snyder, Jim Lee, and James Gunn and
this
Peterson.
is this is
My friends, our community. This is Colby the Cheeseman, your local comic book shop expert. I am your co-host, Alma, the All-Star Superman. This has been fun. Welcome back. Enjoy your week. Talk more soon, and Brohood out. Thanks, Colby.